Hey guys, Omni here. We are finally at the end of Midnight Mass with episode 7, book 7, Revelations. Last episode was, to say the least, haunting. It definitely left me not feeling too hot that evening, not gonna lie. It was definitely disturbing. And not like I mentioned in the reaction, not in the just like the grotesque kind of way or gory or anything like that. Just like in the pure awfulness of it. It was just, I don't know. It just really hit a chord as everybody was kind of locked in the church as they were just kind of being massacred, fed upon, forced into this. Yeah, I have no idea how this is going to come to a close, man. I really don't. We got a small unit of people who have not been turned and who have not been fed upon. However, some of these people have partaken in the wine. So if something happens, who knows? Will they come back? Will they not? Is it enough? Is it not? I don't know. I know for sure though that like two of them that I can think of have not taken any wine. So if they die, they die. So fuck. That said, man, we're going to go ahead and hop into this episode. If you're part of that 67% of people that are watching the channel, you're not yet subscribed, or maybe you're tuning in for the first time here today, I really hope if you enjoy this reaction, maybe you'll consider hitting that subscribe button, and maybe even leave a little like. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see the full-length, unedited reaction to this and watch-along format, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, it gets you access to that as well. You also get the same thing for all the other shows we cover here on the channel, as well as a bunch of exclusive movie reactions where you guys actually get to help vote on what we add to that list every month. Got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage, trying to make it worth your while since you are going out of your way to support the channel. But of course, I know not everybody can do that, and a simple way you can help us out is just by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing these videos, because that really goes a long way in helping us in the YouTube algorithm. But that all said and down the way, guys, let's hop into the finale of Midnight Mass. Here we go. Oh. Okay, she's fine. Holy shit. Okay, hell yeah. But now she's turned. Oh, and her hair, all the gray is gone. Oh, and he's just sitting here looking at the carnage. Oh, dude. Oh my god, dude, this is wicked. Oh my god. Yeah, they're not like eating too. They're making sure to turn everybody. Oh my god. Yeah, look what you got yourself into, Ollie. Oh no. This is so fucked up, man.
I have a canoe by the upwards. I don't think it gets anybody to the mainland, but off the island, at least.
Our parents are out there. They'd have to come with us, right?
No.
You said it was a contagion. If just one of them makes it to the mainland.
And so far, no one has been successful at taking one of them out except via sunlight. So we have to make it through the night and then drag everybody out by hand into the sun. That's the only like feasible way we know. We don't know if the silver thing works. We don't know how. We know the crucifixes don't do anything or holy ground. So that's all bunk.
Maybe it buys us a few more minutes. A few more minutes alive. And it might come down to just minutes. Maybe seconds. First things, we have to get you kids to safety.
No, we can help.
No. What if we head to the beach and hug the shoreline to the upwards, and you take the canoe and you paddle out as...
Oh my...
Again.
Fuck off. You know, what happens if Lisa gets off the island too and survives all this? I mean, it's just a theory that this can be processed out of their system over time.
I just want to have a little chat with Aaron Green and Sarah Gunning. Maybe that terror-loving sheriff, if he's still with them.
Oh, fuck you.
Bev, I want you to listen to me. Because your whole life, I think you've needed to hear this. You aren't a good person.
That was uncalled for.
God doesn't love you more than anyone else. God loves him just as much as he loves you, Bev. Why does that upset you so much?
She's stalling. Check her on back. Jesus.
Wow.
That's why I put that thing in that trunk. That's why I bribed and lied and smuggled it back here. That was the reason I didn't want you to die.
Wait, is he Sarah's father?
Too scared to come down and be with you. I've been too scared to tell our own daughter the truth. And it never felt like a sin, that was the thing. But you never felt like a sin, and our daughter, oof.
Oh.
It was never a mistake. Never.
Wow. Such an honest reason to do what he did, too. It's almost like Darth Vader, Anakin, like, in a way, in the darkness, steeping into the dark side for fear of his loved ones, guised under his faith, but more accentuated by his faith, not so much under a guise of it, but... Oh, no. Is Papa flying around? Yep.
You guys smell good. Like, you smell amazing.
Back up.
Right, yeah.
Oh, fuck. He's only got 3 shells.
Help me!
Oh, gosh, man. This is so fucked up, man. I wonder if a UV light would do anything. But I doubt anybody but maybe Riley's bedroom might have one to even test that theory.
Why did she do that?
It doesn't matter.
Why isn't she coming back? Okay. Just wasn't time yet. Are they at Joe's? Wow.
Boy.
It's quite literally. It's not the same gun, but this 100% came full circle for her. Holy shit.
We're gonna be okay.
Man, I'm worried about them.
I feel it too. I'm starving too, but I didn't.
Same with Riley.
Don't change who you are.
Use your powers for good. This is so horrific, man. Man. Oh no, this is where it's been hanging out. This is the nest it's been chilling in. Yeah, oh, it's been eating the rats. You know, there's the drug dealer kid. There's who else is just up and disappeared. Oh, raccoon. Ooh! Dude, just go. Get. No! What are you doing? To be honest, you got that fuel canister. Oh, he's just like, yeah, fuck that. Holy shit, he just shrugged that off. You got a full gas canister. I'd chuck it on that thing and light it. He's just like, get the fuck away. Sorry, gas can that motherfucker. Nuke it, nuke it, nuke it, nuke it. Don't even know if this will do anything, man. Come on, just do it now. Come on. Damn, man, it's still...
You know, your father's worried sick. Lisa!
Oh, fuck. This is the rec center that she funded, wasn't it? That Joe Collie was talking all that shit about. It's so funny. Because it goes back to what Mrs. Flynn was saying, was that... she just thinks so highly of herself and above herself of their own, like, superiority complex that she's like, I'll be the guiding light for everybody. I'll be the lifeboat, the ark. You know. Oh, whoa. So chilling, man.
But if you forgive men their trespass, the Heavenly Father will also forgive you. So, who am I to judge? Still, no.
I will. Who am I to judge? But I still will. Profusely. I gotta say, like, Pruitt really brought this upon this entire island, but at least it was out of some kind of naive kind of sense of good. But Bev is like the manipulator. She's like, fuck off. Fuck all this shit.
I truly hope you two enjoy the sunrise.
Fucking disgusting. But this actress is fucking slaying this role, man. Holy shit.
We're ready for them. Hold them outside a few more minutes. We need an accurate head count so we know how many boats we need tomorrow.
They burn the boats.
Wade will call back the ferries. He'll just call them back when it's time.
And again, when she was quoting scripture back at him, it is all the things she is. It's all things that she's flipped around in different ways before. Again, just showing just fucking how malleable these kings can be made.
I hate to tell you this, but you could have brought them back. Just as Sturge apparently brought you back, which was something we discussed only doing in rare.
You're welcome in St. Patrick's. I'll have to be welcome or this isn't really a God's house. I love you so much. And I've been so proud of you, and I just wish that we had gotten to know each other. And out the back, I'll take care. It's okay. Yeah. No, it's okay.
She's not gonna take it. Oh, yeah, no. Where's this thing, though? It's got wings. It could probably easily make it to the mainland. I'd be a little concerned about that. Not so much as them and their boats. Oh!
You would burn us in our homes? Oh, I knew. The day you set foot on this island, of course you would. Terrorist.
Fuck you.
It's not, though, is it? Empty, I mean.
Oh, God. Oh! Come on.
Hey,
Come on, Ollie.
boy.
He's got a name, bitch. Just the casual ass way he did that. It's kind of fucking hilarious. Oh, fuck. God. Oh, she's gonna cut its wings. Make sure it can't fly. Oh. Oh, Aaron. Wow, it's gotta really be... like... well, we saw that when it was getting shot earlier. It cannot be bothered.
No, Bev, no. There's nowhere else.
While he's feeding.
You burned it all?
No. No,
You dumb fuck.
I'll forgive you.
Come on. You too, Howie. Come on.
Man, this thing is dumb as fuck. And this thing just fed too. Oh well, it can still kind of flap itself away somehow.
Do you think it can make it? Before the sunrise? 30 miles? I mean, that thing can barely fly it. No, I don't think it can.
Can't risk it. Are they gonna go after it? No. Wow. Aaron is a fucking badass. No matter what, she still can't face it. She's such a fucking coward and hypocrite. I mean, I can't blame her in the fear of something like this coming, but like, she made her bed. But it's funny. She always is all talk. Wow. Alright, what about flying fucker? She's at least fine. She never turned. Again, I hope if she doesn't die, she won't come back. Man, the ashes.
I can't feel my legs.
Okay, it's gone. Oh. I need a shot of that fucker burst into a ball of flame in the sky. Don't you dare go to credits. Fuck you, Mike Flanagan. How dare you not give us that? I know they said he might not make it, but I need to know that thing bursted into flames trying to get out of this situation. I think it's, again, it goes back to what I was saying about Father Pruitt's intentions and his interpretation of what was before him when he was given this gift at the time. You know, he was dreading losing his life. He was sick. He was ill. He had so many regrets and stuff like that because of the secret he had kind of bore. Never got to be a father to Sarah and all this stuff, and a life that could have been, and getting the second chance. I get being blinded by it, and then also kind of that consideration going back to his story about his mission where he was contemplating the roaring, overwhelming sound of what God must experience with the non-stop chaos of life, bringing spirits and spirits and spirits unto him, the screams and pains of death, of souls screaming for more and beyond, casting out and overshadowing and overwhelming any whispers of prayer and whatnot. And this being his way to stop that, and in a way, pulling an Anakin is like, I will conquer death. I will not lose the ones I love about. He came here with great intentions. He came here with good intentions. And like I said, I was like, either he's really naive or it was a twisting of words and narration to justify his causes, which is a little bit of both, but it came from a place of genuine care where Bev was not so much. And I think that sometimes it again, we see like the people the true good, and some of that came out of the people who had no faith, some people that did believe, and all that stuff. People will stand for what is good in the end when it comes down to it, face to face with it. Some people don't know the difference, like Pruitt. He couldn't tell the difference. He saw good in this thing and thought, it might come with some bad, but maybe the good outweighs that bad, and maybe it'll be worth it in the end. And he saw the carnage and the outcome of it and realized the truth of it. Then you have people that will just double down no matter what, like Bev, and twist things no matter what, like Bev. And at the end, when it comes time to get your end of the deal, you run from it, you hide from it, you change and twist and turn your words, you barter. And that was Bev Keane the entire way through, man. Always finding herself to be above and beyond everybody else. And I like when she was finally confronted that, in fact, by Riley's mom. And just watching the whole town crumple behind her as, this whole separation that they caused, this whole thing that they brought about and brought them to themselves by being like, oh, you know what, let's just incite revelations. Let's burn a third of the building and we'll lead everybody to us. Knowing exactly what they've done to the people that are still out and about like this, that there would be anybody that would not interrupt or bypass or just throw a wrench into that plan by leaving them cut off. So by doing exactly what she did, she ended up burning the only hope that they had out of this point, literally digging their own graves by being ignorant to their own actions in the end. And just to show, while this thing has, intelligence and intent and purpose, it is at its core still kind of an animal. And that's something that I just now kind of thinking about. Notice it, when it's feeding, the fact that it got shot and it was just like, later, I'll talk to you later. Here, come in a second, let me finish. It just brushes it off. Feeding, while it's feeding, that is all it cares about. To the point where Aaron was able to really mess up its ability to fly. Though I feel like I'm no expert on, the real world physics of gigantic ass bat wings, but I have to imagine he flew a lot better than I think he would or should have. Given just how messed up she made those wings. But the point of it all was that at the core of it, he, of all things, could not turn away from his hunger, turn away from his thirst. He doesn't have the willpower. It doesn't have the willpower. It's an animal to that core. It just gives into its instincts and fuck anything else. Meanwhile, we cut back to Riley's parents, and they are not giving in. Riley didn't give in. He had that pain. He had that hunger. Sure, he had that moment when he just woke up when Bev's throat was right at him and he was being tested. Once he was left onto his own devices, he was just staving off the hunger. Just willpower. Not letting who they are at their core be corrupted by this. And his family did the same. They were both... the only blood that they spilled was their own. And they felt that draw, they felt that hunger, but they are able to think beyond it, overcome it. Showing, again, that I think that the misunderstanding of what this creature was pertinent to Pruitt's kind of blind side, or his tunnel vision onto his means to an end, if I'm even making any sense right now. The fact that this thing that he thought was a gift from above is nothing more than an animal we don't understand that just wants to feed, propagate, and move on. When it came down to it, it doesn't give two shits about these people, but it was intelligent enough to know how to manipulate them by playing along with the rituals, playing along with the whole church scene and all that, and praise be upon me and all that jazz. But when it comes down to it, everything else was in flames and burning down. People were doing their own thing, and it doesn't give two shits about any of them. It just tried to get away. Like Bev, tried to just get away. Didn't care about the group, didn't care about the mission, didn't care about any of that, just tried to survive and linger on. And they were had put his faith into this thing. And again, I like that he learned that mistake. And again, the performances in this, Rahul Kohli, man, killed it in this. Like, and so did Kate Siegel. Fucking everybody, man. The way that Annabeth Gish went out too was also just sad. But I love that fucking the sheriff stood his ground in that moment and was just like, and again, it just all assumptions from Bev, all racist ass bullshit, just like points about him, about what he was doing, why he was doing it, how he was doing it, and going about it, and all this stuff, when he was more righteous than she would ever know to be. And yeah, man, fuck her. But I did like that moment when it came back to Ollie and he saw what was happening and made the right call. But it was kind of funny how he was just like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. But yeah, everybody just kind of cutting ties there at the end. Once they're like, oh well, I guess we don't have a place to sleep. Everything's on fire. We got nowhere to go. The end is coming, and we kind of made our bed. Everybody accepted that but Bev. Everybody turned away from it, asked for forgiveness, and just chose to be with their loved ones in the end. Even though it was kind of like way too far and gone at that point. It was a little bit, I would say it's a little bit of a abrupt kind of flip for a lot of them who were very, very in the Kool-Aid. But like with Pruitt, you get pushed to a point and your eyes awaken. You see what is before you where others might not be able to. This whole thing, the imagery, haunting, beautiful though. A lot of great, beautiful shots in this, and just this show was just really fucking solid. And it's very, I know I've seen some people comment on it, but I love it. Like, it's very monologue heavy, but it's so well done. Like, I can't say, like, I can't like put down any of that because I love it. I love when they really go into these like conversations and back and forth about philosophy, beliefs, and the world and feelings and what it is to be human and all that, which is at the core of every Mike Flanagan thing that I've seen up to this point. And I think this is one of the ones that really kind of dove into it. We've had monologues in the previous shows and stuff like that, but this was like very much so about the performances, and I think everybody did a phenomenal job. And the fact that no one got nominated for this is kind of a sin. Especially Hamish, man. Holy shit, dude. He was so good in this. He had some phenomenal monologues, and he gave some phenomenal deliveries and performances, and he just committed wholeheartedly to this. And so did everybody else, but I think he's definitely the standout to me. I can't think of anything else I've seen him in, and he's definitely blown me away. Rahul Kohli, though, continues to just like make me love this dude like the more and more. From his social media presence to Bly to this, I need more Rahul Kohli in my life. I do. This entire cast, man, was phenomenal. There was not a weak link in the chain. Cinematography was beautiful. The writing was poetic. And the way we still kind of found a way to bring Riley back into it. I kind of thought that was going to happen when Aaron was going out, that similarly like when he was on the boat and he was visited by the girl he killed in his moment of passing, that Riley might be there for her in this as a way to kind of bookend that. But I like how they kind of added on to that as well to kind of like add on to and accentuate the conversation that they had last had about death itself too. Which again is a beautiful interpretation of death and a beautiful interpretation of what God could be interpreted to be. I think that was a really beautiful way to kind of think about and encompass what we know about the universe into the concept of a God. Yeah. I don't know. I really like this show, man, because it it tackles a lot of again, the scary thing about this is not the supernatural element of it. It's just society. We live in a society. The fact that this is a very hubris of humans and people, and how that can be dangerous, how that can be weaponized, how the fragility and the weaknesses of others can be preyed upon and manipulated and twisted and overshadowed and overturned and pushed down paths that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise chosen. Responsibility, all these different things, and like a lot of it is just like people like this are out there. There are so many Bevs out there. There are so many Pruitts out there that are trying to do the right thing, but maybe aren't going about it the right way. There are people like Riley who are just lost and can't really find themselves until maybe it's too late or that moment's gone. I think that's like the thing that pulls at my heartstrings the most about this whole thing is just like the real conversations, and that it kind of brings to the forefront of just about how people behave and the different types of people out there. But also what I respect about the show, taking this stance of religion and church and this communion, this community that gets led astray by their faith, that it didn't make faith the villain necessarily. That it was the way you go about it, that at the core of it all, the betterment of others and the way you treat each other, the way you love each other and all that stuff is what is really important at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what you believe. And for me personally, I was like, I don't care what you believe, I don't care anything, or what you do, as long as it is not hurting anybody else. If it spreads love, it spreads love. If it shares it, it shares it. If it, whatever, as long as it's not dragging anybody down, berating anybody, you're not using it as a weapon, you're just not forcing it negatively on anybody else to impact their way of life, do you. And I think that's kind of what it came down to at the end of this, too, is like they kind of realized exactly what they had been doing by forcing and dragging everybody into this. At what point they kind of lost their way and were not living their faith. I don't know. I just like that, we have people who were to the bitter end believers who knew this was wrong and that this wasn't the way, that this was, they were wrong about what they interpreted, that there were people who could acknowledge that. There were people who on every side that were a hero. Like, especially in the end, the final group, like we had Sarah, the believer. We had Rahul, the sheriff, who wasn't a believer but had his own faith, a different faith. We had Annabeth, who was I dare say agnostic, maybe atheist. I can't recall if we ever really truly went into it. I know her beliefs were strongly rooted in science. We had, at the end, everybody from a different pocket, all unified in just the protecting everybody else in the world, people they have never and will never meet. They're trying their best to save them and make sure that they get to live their lives, and that's the sacrifice that they've made here. And it was a group of people with varied and very different beliefs that all came together in the end to make this all work. And I think that's one of the parts about this I really, really liked, is that it didn't paint anybody specifically as, I wouldn't say anybody specifically because Bev, but it didn't like put a target or a stain on any real world group in the end. I don't know. I just like that it tackled it in a very nuanced way, and I love that about it. I really love this series, and as far as it stacks up like with the other Mike Flanagan shows, because I know a lot of people have said this is like definitely their favorite, but for me, I love it. I think it is a masterclass in writing and acting and themes and all of that, and But I gotta say, like, I still have like such a soft spot for Hill House, man, because that made me weep. That hurt to watch, and it was so good, and maybe a little more fantastical, a little more detached from reality. Not so much, because it still had those same human elements of it. I don't know. I still think Hill House is my top, but I think Midnight Mass does beat out Bly Manor for me in the end. But I definitely really love all three, and I'm just this ride that we've been on since last October. almost we almost took a year to get through all of these, but we started off our journey last October with Hill House, and we finally, or at least I finally caught up on Mike Flanagan's television work. So it's been quite the ride, but I'll tell you guys a little thing. So, a little preview for anybody. I don't know how many people actually check out my Midnight Mass reaction, so I'll tell you guys a little story. So, one night, my parents were out of town. They asked me to come over and house sit their place while they were at the beach with my brother and everybody. So everybody was out vacationing, but I stayed home to watch their house. And I was playing Resident Evil 5. It had just came out, so I was just like, I brought my Xbox over to their place. I hooked it up, and I was just playing. And I was like, all right, I need to take a break. It was like maybe 6, 7 o'clock. So it was still kind of light outside. It wasn't like nighttime or anything. Decided to lay down on the couch, have a little nap. And they're just out in the boonies. Not too far out, like civilization's less than 10 minutes away, but they are up a bunch of windy roads in the mountains, up the creek, up the holler, if you will. So, I always lock all the doors, and there's a basement. It's one of those basements where like the basement is underground on part of it. Like if the house is on the hill, like the front part of the basement is under the hill, the back part is like exposed. So there's a rickety ass door that I just do not trust in the basement. So I always lock that door and the door at the top of the stairwell that goes down to that door. Always. Just in case. Because I'm going to conk out, and if nobody sees a car in the driveway, I don't want any crazy rednecks thinking they can just kind of break in through the rickety ass metal door downstairs and it'd be fine. Because if somebody does break into that, that's going to make a shit ton of noise. Because as frail and weak as that door is, it makes a lot of noise even just opening it casually. So, locked all of that, laid down, and I was just sitting there. I turned on the TV to watch something in the background, and just out of the corner of my eye, so like from my purview, like on the couch, facing the TV, to the right is a hallway and the entrance to the kitchen. So I'm just sitting there, and out of the corner of my eye, a full-figured woman, like illuminated, like translucent, walks out of the hallway and into the kitchen. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I got up, and kind of to your point, you don't investigate weird noises. Everything you've ever heard in a horror movie is just leave it alone. Don't fucking follow it. I was like, the fuck was that? So I got up and went into the kitchen, which is where it went. It came out of the hallway into the kitchen like this. Really slow. So I went in, walked down there, and mind you, I made sure to lock all this shit. The door to the basement, the pitch black, concrete, creepy ass basement, was wide open. But here's where the intelligence kicked in. At that point, I said, no. I shut that door, relocked it, and went right back to the couch. I was like, fuck you. I'll follow you in the kitchen. I ain't following you down there. Fuck off with that. Went right back to the couch and just laid back down. I don't think I told that to anybody for a few years after that happened too. And the person I was seeing at the time, you know, we were both over there hanging out, and she was doing dishes, just kind of help out around the house and whatnot. And I came home from work, went to the bedroom, changed, came out. I don't think I ever told her this story either. And I came out, and I just opened the door, walked in. She was just at the sink in the kitchen, like looking at me like she had just seen like a train wreck. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, she just like was staring at me like pale as shit. He was like, "Did you see that?" And I was like, I don't even know why I thought this, but like, I was like, was it a woman in a white gown? And she just shook her head yes. And I was like, it's not just me. I didn't even care how she was feeling in that moment, to be honest. I was just like, holy shit, I'm validated. Anyway, never again. Apparently, I'm not the only one that's seen this thing in this house, but nobody had ever mentioned it before. But yeah, I think that's been the weirdest thing that's ever kind of came about of it. Never got like a malicious feeling about it. Never got like a weird vibe or cold chills or anything of the supernatural spooky thought. It's just like there's an apparition thing that happened. Anyway, there you have it. I'm a magnet for paranormal activity. I haven't had an incident in 10 years, I'd say. I mean, I'm 34, so 10 years. I haven't had anything weird happen since I was, I think, 24. And at least if it did happen, maybe I wasn't aware about it, or it just happened and I didn't catch it. But as far as things I've seen, I haven't seen anything funky since I was 24. I don't really know what to say about it right now, so guys, I'm going to pass it off to you. Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us in our Discord. We could talk about it there as well. Links to that and all my social in the description box below. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction to this, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, it gives you access as well. And speaking of, before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, Yori Korskov, Margaret Grace, Mary Bradley, Melita, Robert Anguiano, Cal Kestis Nation, and Raven McCann. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for Midnight Mass, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.